Every morning, Ilmur Stefansdottir swims 1,000 meters in warm water. It gives her strength to face the day. She has 4 children and a busy job in a country battling an economic crisis. But Ilmur is a born optimist. The costume designer at Reykjavik City Theatre has to make do with recycling old costumes these days. But she thinks that's okay, as people have lived beyond their means for too long.
Last Christmas I made Christmas presents out of old woolen clothes from that I had. I really enjoyed that. I'm not sure I would have done it before the crisis. And a lot of people are actually doing that. And I just hope that this is something that we can value for a longer time.
In the boom years, Icelanders earned enormous sums and spent them, but that's all over now. In Reykjavik's banking quarter, many offices are empty. The country needs to cultivate new values. The women who founded Uder Capital Financial Consulting intend to do a better job than men. Their offices radiate feminine warmth, in line with the company's philosophy of fair and environmentally friendly investment.
I think it's a very feminine trait in a sense to think in long term, because we do care about the next generation. It's not about maximizing our wealth or the wealth of our shareholders for a short time being. It's about creating an abundance and more wealth for all parties, and that means the next generation, our children.
They're rational businesswomen, not radical feminists, but they nonetheless have much in common with the Icelandic women who once fought for women's rights.
And here is Auður. She was the first mayor of Reykjavik, first female.
The company was named after her.
She was also the first female minister and the first female.
These financial experts believe the future lies with the EU.
Which is Auður. I think we have to realize that we are part of an international economy, and in terms of the monetary policy and in terms of how we do things, I think we need to be aware that we cannot think of those things in an isolated manner.
The governing Social Democrats are also in favor of Iceland joining, but before that can happen, the country will have to repay its debts.
I think it's absolutely necessary that we get Icesave out of the way, because it distracts the debate and the discussion. It has had negative effect on it. You're absolutely right. But I'm an optimist. I'm born that way. I wake up that way every morning, and I believe that we will within soon solve the Icesave issue.
Ordinary Icelanders disagree about the advantages of joining the European Union. Ilmur and her husband have invited some friends around. The men are all for joining the EU, but the women are against it.
I always have the feeling it's the only point for us in joining the EU would to continue all the consuming and all the big spending atmosphere, and I don't really want that.
The couple's friend Pál is a leading psychiatrist in Iceland. He says before the crisis, joining the EU would have been unthinkable, but now it's more likely.
I think the old myth of Icelanders as a kind of an incredibly talented and invincible, kind of almost untouchable people. I mean, that myth has been kind of disbanded, and I think that's good.
The crisis has transformed the country. For the better, most people say. But many Icelanders are skeptical about whether it will push Iceland closer to EU membership.